While we're outside the U.S., California... Stupid.
Welcome.
That just might become our thing now.
That's racist.
Stupid.
Okay. Welcome to the Naked Apple. We have some stuff.
Some things.
Some things. Some stings, even. Stuff and things.
Stuff and things. Things and stuff.
I call them stings for short.
Some thuff.
Some
things and stuff.
Some
thuff.
Some thuff.
We have some thuff. It's a word combination. I'm not doing a Mike Tyson impersonation.
I regret nothing.
I regret nothing. You got any more of that stuff? That stuff?
Y'all got any more of that?
I need some more of that stuff.
Exactly.
This is terrible. Absolutely terrible.
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 Terrible knucklehead.
All right. Well,
I guess we should dive right into it because we're going to need, as usual, a good dose
of the vitamin B.
Of vitamin B.
Welcome to your vitamin B. We have considerable amounts of news today.
Considerable amounts.
Considerable amounts.
Could you say there is a plethora?
Yes, even a plethora. First, but certainly not least, we have a wonderful new, I guess you would call it an economic trend, as there's a huge spike in Americans buying F-15s after Biden suggests you'll need them to overthrow the government.
Yeah, I got in on that too late. Mine's on back order.
Yeah. I couldn't come up with the $5 million needed for the sale this year. I'll have to pick one up another time.
I'll have to hook you up. I know a guy.
Oh, you know a guy?
I know a guy.
Oh, well, that's always good. We'll talk later. Oh, in your world news, the Olympics are set to kick off with the ceremonial lighting of the American flag. I only wish I was kidding.
I hate that story.
In other news, with Pride Month ending, nation excited for Lust, Gluttony, and Envy months.
Lust, Gluttony.
I am personally looking forward to Gluttony. If you couldn't tell, I enjoy that month very much.
Tell it all.
Oh, with the current congressional halt that has been called on the new infrastructure deal, all U.S. roads have been set to explode at midnight if no infrastructure deal is reached. It is about time we got rid of those pesky roads unless you give us money.
This isn't going to end up like the Y2K scare where they thought everything with a barcode's just going to stop working, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm. Well, for a wonderful flashback for those of you that remember World War II, American school children begin duck and cover drills in case Biden nukes their city.
That's just got to hope it's not too conservative.
Yeah. In case of emergency, please move to San Francisco.
I mean,
I hear it's all rainbows there. Anyway.
Even the streets are paved with them.
In another just breathtaking win, the Supreme Court says students who identify as teachers must be allowed to use the teacher's lounge.
Makes sense.
I agree wholeheartedly. You don't know that that's not a teacher.
Yeah. Who are you to judge?
On the same note,
Teaching
frustrated
wins.
women demand trans women in public restrooms stop leaving the toilet seat up. It's a real problem, and we need to deal with it.
Why are they transphobic?
And by that, I mean they need to deal with it. Why are they transphobic? And last but certainly not least, I'll end it the way I began it. Britney Spears considers presidential run as only person in the world that both the left and the right agree with. And this has been your Vitamin B. It's a pretty good set today.
It's nice.
Ecom did a
decent.
good job.
Had some good hearty chuckles in there.
Yes, indeed.
I actually lolled.
You did, in fact, quite profusely on a couple of those.
lolled.
It's a shame though that we have to we have to duck back to the World War II in school drills.
I'm gonna create a new text thing to replace LOL.
Oh yes,
LLOL.
LOL.
Literally, LOL'd.
Oh, literally,
Literally laughed out loud.
That's terrible.
Because, for the most part, when someone says LOL, it's more of a...
Yeah. There is one thing Ecom forgot to mention that has actually caused quite an uproar. In case you didn't, have you heard that they're changing the name of Boba Fett's ship in Star Wars?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's no longer the Slave One. Do you know what it is now?
Something about puppies.
The Uyghur Slave One. Oh, wait.
Hope.
Puppies? There's
the Uyghur slave. They just want to be more
it's an effort
down
to
to earth, if you will.
It's an effort to appease China, I'm sure. Winnie Jinping sent a mandate to Disney.
Winnie Jinping is mildly confused.
Mildly confused. Well, now that we've got our chuckles in, time to start the good news.
The good news with sports.
With sports! And we're starting with a story that follows a line of thinking that I've had for nigh on a decade.
And what
Are you ready?
And what would that be?
That football is gay.
Is it?
Gay!
I had no idea he had that. Oh, that was good.
There's not many times where you can use that soundbite in this kind of setting.
You're right.
The NFL has declared that football is gay in a commercial supporting Carl Nassib because, nothing says hero like a guy getting paid millions of dollars to say that he's gay when I'm almost certain his entire team knew he was gay.
Yeah, pretty sure.
Stop, don't come back.
Yeah, they go on. The commercial is football is gay, football is lesbian, football is beautiful, football is queer, football is life, football is exciting, culture, transgender, queer again. Queers are double represented. That's
Did
just...
they really do it twice?
This is the third
did.
story I've seen on this that
They
quotes
did
it,
do
and
it twice.
it's quoted twice.
Huh.
Football is heart, is power, is tough, is bisexual. What about all the other sexuals? Is strong. What about the not strong people? Is freedom. Is American. Yeah. Yeah. Which is why you stop people from disrespecting America who are playing on your football teams, right? Football is accepting. Football is everything. Football is for everyone. How long until the NFL doesn't exist anymore, do you think?
Well, I mean, it hasn't been entertaining for almost a decade, so 5 more years?
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
10, maybe, max?
I mean, if they keep up with this, it probably expedite that.
Yeah, well, it's one of those things. I actually don't mind the sport of football. I think it's fun to play, and it's to watch.
Depending on the game.
Depending on the game. Exactly. And the NFL, a bunch of roided up, way overpaid athletes playing in the same 3 teams winning every year is really boring. Extremely boring.
Yeah.
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 So I've always found college football to be much more entertaining. It's a lot more competitive. It's a lot more
Because they're usually
You know.
in it because they're basically trying to prove that they're worth being in the NFL.
right.
Once they're in the NFL,
Then they can have
there's not-
dogfighting rings, and it doesn't matter what
not
they
really
do in
much of a
football.
drive to increase your performance because, hey, as long as you can keep that guy from getting you past you for 2 seconds,
Yeah.
they'll give you $1 million. Woo.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's I feel the same way about most professional sports. Like they were, and it's really funny because you watch, like when professional sports started, you go back and watch some of the old, like professional sports games,
The old highlight reels.
old highlight reels, stuff like that. And the game was fairly entertaining back then. It was, fairly good. Anymore, it's like,
Like for me with basketball, Michael
Man.
Jordan, as soon as he was gone, that was pretty
that's
much
pretty
the
much
end.
it for the NBA. Yeah. Yeah.
It's like
But LeBron is so much better.
LeBron
Yeah,
is a
LeBron is
pansy.
Yeah. Seriously though, dude, I was watching a highlight reel of Michael Jordan, and I haven't really watched NBA since I was a kid,
Same.
which was when Michael Jordan was playing.
The-
and I watched a game a few weeks ago. There was somebody like the Jazz or somebody was playing, and I was at a bar or whatever. It was up on the TV screen. So I was watching a game, and I was just like, there is literally nothing to this game. They're running back and forth. It's a whole lot of exercise, and it's really not entertaining to watch. And then I watched an old highlight reel of Jordan playing, and it was like, what happened to that game?
See him fly across the court to slam the ball into the hoops.
Oh, the funniest thing was like reaching around somebody's head like he was going to pass it, just palming the ball and then bringing it back as they turn around and just,
Yeah.
crap like that. Like it was so fun to watch, and you just don't see it much anymore.
Yeah,
you don't. The caliber of players is, I wouldn't say gone down, but it's different. They play a different game now.
Yeah,
than
'cause-
they used to.
'cause it used
they're
to
still,
be with
they're
mu-
still good athletes. They're very athletic people. You give them that, but the game somehow just changed, and it's not as entertaining anymore.
It's basically they build the team around a single player instead of building players around the team.
right, which was. I mean, you watch the old games, the Bulls versus the Jazz in the finals and stuff like that, and you have the team. You have Karl Malone and Stockton and those guys on the Jazz. You have, Jordan and Pippen on the Bulls. And they had, and there's other players too. This is just a couple of examples.
At the time,
But-
most people can name more than one person on each team.
oh yeah.
Now-
and now
you
it's like,
only-
who do you like in the NBA? I like LeBron. No, I mean like which team? Yeah, I like LeBron.
Oh, so you like the Lakers? Yeah, sure.
Yeah, sure.
Who else is great on the Lakers?
LeBron.
That's what it is.
That's what it is. That's all you got.
Football is pretty much right there now too. It's Tom Brady. Everyone loves Tom Brady. Yeah, cool.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Well, he's
Sure,
the greatest of all
whatever.
time. Yeah, probably. But
He might be the GOAT, but
it's woo.
woo. Exactly. Like seriously, who cares?
Because
In a team sport, if you base a team sport around one person, you've lost the vision of the sport.
Here's your cutoff for when sports were cool. For almost every time. When the nicknames stopped.
Oh yeah.
Football, you had the fridge.
Yeah.
Yeah, you had all these guys with all these nicknames, and even in basketball, Stretch Armstrong and all these guys.
Wasn't Stretch Armstrong a toy?
Yes, but he was also a basketball player, wasn't he?
I don't know.
Anyways, shows how much I actually follow sports. But I do know Stretch was a nickname for one of them. But they had these nicknames because of the feats they were able to accomplish and because of how unstoppable they were.
we really shouldn't talk sports because neither one of us knows anything about sports.
That's the depth of our knowledge.
Other than the fact that it stopped being entertaining for us
basketball,
in the 90s.
anything for basketball, anything outside of the Bulls playing the Jazz in the finals, I know nothing.
Right?
That game-saving shot from John Stockton is forever ingrained in every Utahns mind.
Stockton.
Outside of that, most Utahns don't really know what's going on with basketball, I would contend.
Yeah.
John Stockton saves the Utah Jazz to the NBA Finals.
Yep.
Which I mean...
And here's another thing. What was Jerry Sloan was the coach at the time?
Yeah.
He's the only coach in the Hall of Fame with 0 wins, with 0 NBA final trophies, titles, whatever. Mm-hmm. Because he was the winningest coach in NBA history. Because he knew how to build a team.
Oh, yeah.
He didn't pick a player.
He picked a team.
He picked a team. He made the team good. And you knew when someone wasn't working with the team.
Mailman.
Yeah, you knew when someone wasn't working with the team, Ostertag, because he'd fight with him all the time. And then they got benched more and more and more, and eventually they weren't on the team anymore.
Yeah.
Anyway.
They also started the unfortunate trend of entertainment athletes trying to become actors.
Yeah, and then they started playing in
We
Europe.
got the Gem Space Jam.
Yeah. I mean, that one
Which
actually
was pretty good. But we also got that other thing that was with Dennis Rodman in it. And what was the name of that?
Men in Black?
Dennis Rodman movie. Double Team.
Never heard of
Double Team.
That is not triggering any core memory right now. Is forever lost in the abyss if I ever had that.
Oh my gosh. He was in more than one movie. Woof.
Wasn't he in Men in Black?
No.
Oh.
No, Rodman was not in Men in Black. He was in Double Team, which was a movie with Jean-Claude Van Damme.
There's a name I haven't heard for
And
a while.
then he was in 2 sports movies, which makes sense. Wow, he was in a movie that came out in 2007?
You two are still living.
You know, directed by Tom Brady, of course. What the crap just happened?
You need to come back from the Twilight Zone here.
IMDb just gave me an aneurysm.
Godzilla just read that and died. The stroke and died.
Oof.
In other sport news, Nike says, the CEO says that Nike is a brand that is of China and for China.
Just don't it.
Just don't. Just don't.
Just don't.
Yeah, that's good. Good for you. Well, the company... So Donahue's comments come after Nike released a statement in March claiming it is, quote, concerned about reports of forced labor in and connected to the Xinjiang Uyghur Autonomous Region. Okay. While the company also claimed it does not directly source its product material from forced labor, critics argue the country's supply chains are interwoven. Yeah, because it's China.
Because we keep shutting down all of our production so that they can have more.
There are thought to be more than 1 billion Uyghur Muslims held in Xinjiang, which delivers 80% of Chinese
Cotton.
Oh, but that we're only getting 20%. That 20% is where we're getting our cotton.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the U.S. only got 20% of its cotton from the not 80% that was enslaved labor cotton back in the day.
Back in the day, like yesterday?
I mean,
because this is ongoing.
Yeah.
So this
I
isn't
was thinking
the past.
back. I was thinking pre-Civil War, but
that was a different kind of slavery.
Was it?
No, not really. But yes, really, because it's one that has ended. Here.
And in case you forgot, we covered this before. Nike partnered with Coca-Cola and Apple to lobby against a Xinjiang forced labor measure last November. The bill, called the Uyghur Forced Labor Prevention Act, made its way through House of Representatives 406-3. So U.S. says, hey, we should probably pass a law that says you can't be using slave labor to make your products. And Nike, Coke, and Apple lobbied against that bill. That was supported by all but 3.
So how did that bill not pass?
It's probably
with that kind of support.
It's probably still sitting in the Senate stack.
Because the way this is worded, the next line says the bill would have.
I don't know. You can look it up for the Senate vote.
Okay, you can continue on.
All right. The bill would have imposed various restrictions related to China's Xinjiang autonomous region, including by, man, it's terribly written, by prohibiting certain imports from Xinjiang and imposing sanctions on those responsible for human rights violations there. An Australian report, it's always Australia, from March 2020 alleged Nike, Apple, and 80 other corporations are potentially directly or indirectly benefiting from the use of Uyghur workers outside Xinjiang through abusive labor transfer programs as recently as 2019.
What in the hell is our government doing?
What'd you find?
So it passed the House.
Right.
Like hard.
Right. 406-3 or whatever it says on there.
It was introduced in the Senate January 27th, 2021.
Uh-huh.
Has yet to be voted on.
Oh, well, they got to vote on important stuff like infrastructure. There's more important things right now.
Wait, what? But what?
Like what?
I don't understand.
2 more sports stories. The hammer throw turns out actually is a thing. I thought it was just a joke from Jeff Foxworthy.
I too thought it was a joke.
But the hammer
I've not
throw
yet been proven wrong.
Hammer throw trials for the U.S. Olympic team only had 2 finalists. Gold medalist Deanna Price and silver medalist Brooke Anderson.
Wonderful athletes.
Wonderful athletes. They proudly put their hands on their heart and national anthem, all that stuff. Yeah, it'll be great to see how far they go in the Olympics. It'll be great. I'm sure they'll do well for the U.S. because U.S. does good in the hammer throw. I have no idea. I've never actually.
The women's hammer throw.
Women's hammer throw. Yes. Yeah. It's odd though that there was only 2 finalists.
It is.
There was a spot for a third, but odd.
Odd.
Anyway, and a throwback to a Olympian that was what did I say? Who was ignored? An ignored Olympian.
An Olympian ignored.
Back in 2012. So everyone was making a big deal about, was it Simone Biles or something like that?
Something like that.
The lady that can dance around on the gym stuff, whatever it is, gymnastic stuff. Because she's so cool, so brave, so black, whatever it was they were pushing. Completely ignoring the first gold medal awarded during those Olympics went to Kimberly Road, a female. I don't know, that seems like that would be a headline, especially, and even then it was a big deal to have this strong women type thing. That's why we have the terrible movie that is...
I mean, when you find out what she competed in, it's a little slanted towards Americans. Just saying.
Right. Which is why American news didn't report on it. Oh.
Well,
wait,
yeah.
Oh, wait, huh? Yeah, Kimberly Road, the first American with individual medals in 5 straight Olympics. after a golden, record-setting, nearly perfect performance in skeet shooting. Yeah. Yeah. She tied a world record and set the Olympic mark with 99 points, meaning she missed once in 100 shots. You do not mess with her.
Especially not if she has a shotgun she's firing into the air.
This is comforting. She was 8 targets better than silver medalist Wei Ning of China. Good. We're better shots than China. I'll take it. And 9 better than Slovakia's Danka Bartakova, who topped Russia's Marina Belikova in shootout for the bronze. Cool. We're better shots than China and Russia. Take it.
I'm happy with that outcome.
Yeah. Yeah. But, yeah, she got largely ignored because, well, there was shootings at the time and can't be praising the first female athlete to achieve such a feat because she did it with a gun in her hand. Can't be promoting those American values. Nope. Anyway, stepping outside of America for a couple seconds.
Boom! Headshot!
Good thing I had my safety glasses on. That could have been bad.
See, that was a sports joke because I threw a baseball at him. It was foamy.
And boom,
Anyway.
headshot referring to firearms. So
Yes, there we go. It was a multi-layer.
everything is there.
Everything was there.
Our friend who doesn't know we're his friend, Pastor Arthur in Canada, was found guilty of hosting worship services.
So we've got to go break into Canada.
Yep. So long as we apologize while we're doing it, it'll be fine.
Sorry for the elbows, bro.
Sorry.
Sorry.
Oh, I'd go after him, but he said he's sorry.
That was an English Canadian.
Yeah, they're all kinds up there.
There's all kinds up there. Just try to sound French, but mangle it horribly. That's
And you got it.
you got it. That's how you do it.
Yeah, that's how you nail it
That's how
down.
you do it. Add an A in there every once in a while.
This
You're fine.
this story coming out of Rebel News, they're pretty much the only Canadian news source I know up there that's actually trying to report on things that are not good in Canada. Anyway, Justice Adam Germain found Pastor Artur Pawlowski guilty beyond a reasonable doubt of contempt of 2 separate court orders during a brief virtual court appearance on Tuesday. Because, it's dangerous to be in public unless, of course, you're going to a restaurant, in which case that fancy restaurant, you can have all manner of city and government officials at that restaurant sitting across from each other and next to each other without masks and social distancing and all that stuff. The first guilty verdict was regarding Justice John Rook's May 6 court order, which never even named Pastor Artur or his church. That's the first video we watched where he tells them to get out, and he looks at their warrant, and this isn't even me. Get out.
Yes, because the one that they served him was, in fact, for, I believe, Chris Scott.
Yeah, that one named the Whistle Stop Cafe and Chris Scott and prohibited legal public gatherings. Hey, we have this court order that you need to stop doing this. Yeah, wrong address, dude. Yeah, but it's still the same thing. Yeah, but it's the wrong address, so try again. The second contempt conviction related to Justice David Gates' court order. That order was sought out in secret without the knowledge of Pastor Artur's lawyers on April 23rd and improperly served to Pastor Artur on April 24th. Whistle Stop Cafe owner Chris Scott was also dealt a similar blow during this same hearing. He was also found guilty for contempt of Justice Rook's court order that, unlike Pastor Artur, was explicitly issued against him but obtained in secret all the same. So he didn't even know that was issued to him, and they gave it to the wrong guy. Wow! That sounds like a mistrial of sorts to me, but,
Only if
that's
you were
Canada.
in a fair and proper justice system, which
Yeah.
they're not because they're in Canada, which has no freedom.
Yeah, prior to announcing the decision, Justin Germain stated that the Pawlowskis Mr. Pawlowski and Scott had openly defied the efforts of Alberta Health Services to control the third wave. Third wave of what?
Immigrants from the U.S.
Oh, yeah. It was all on them.
Yes, the border crisis was a very big thing in Canada.
Oh, good. A month from now,
In
the court
China.
will hear arguments from AHS on sanctions against the Pawlowskis, which may include a term of imprisonment. So imagine, if you will, pick a pastor in the U.S., and they're thrown in jail.
Joel Osteen.
They're thrown in jail because they dare host worship services while the leaders of that city that they're in are dining in fancy restaurants together. So, I don't know, California, for example.
There's a soundbite I'm missing. And I've been missing it forever. How dare you? I'll just do as good of an impersonation as I can.
Miss Thunberg.
Miss Thunberg.
And they're thrown in jail because they didn't follow a court order that was never given to them or their lawyers. And then the CDC is sent in to testify against them. That's essentially what they're saying is going on here. Hey, you didn't follow what we said to do. Which time? So,
I mean, let me do what you do and just cherry pick what I want out of things you've said.
yeah. Actually, I don't really need to do that. I can read your statements in full that disprove what you're saying now and what you said then. Anyway, but yeah, if you want to help him out and others, Rebel News has set up a donation thing, and you can try to help him out there.
Yeah.
I'm not holding my breath, though, for Canada. So long as Trudeau is there, nah. That's not happening.
Yeah. I'm going to go with Nike's new slogan. Just don't.
Just don't. We should make our own shoe company.
Oh, I think we should make a shirt with the
Nike logo upside down.
The Nike logo upside down just says "Just don't."
Just don't. With a little Xi Jinping.
Winnie Jinping
Winnie Jinping.
underneath.
Winnie Jinping. That'd be funny. Just don't.
Just don't.
See, that's the thing. All these celebrities and whatever, this is the worst country in the world. Yeah, okay. Go ahead and make jokes like we do or jokes like you do about the leaders of any other country and see what happens.
In their country.
While living
So
in
I
their
guarantee if we said half the crap that we say in China,
country. We would have only had 5 episodes.
we would have only had 5 episodes. If that.
And we'd be somewhere where the Uyghurs are.
You wouldn't hear any of those episodes. They wouldn't be available online, and we wouldn't exist anymore.
Yeah. Hey, whatever happened to who? You know what? Never mind.
Yeah, you know what? Never mind.
I'm good.
I don't
I'll let it remain a secret.
keep it hidden. Keep it safe.
Is it secret? Is it safe?
Is it secret? Is it safe?
Get a hobbit to do it. While we're outside the U.S., California is in the middle of a historic drought.
And their water finally tastes like their politicians act.
Yeah, their drinking water tastes like dirt. The solution from the officials, just add some lemon.
Wrong, 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 wrong. Wrong, 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 wrong. You're wrong. You're wrong. You're wrong. Gay.
You're having too much fun with that one tonight.
Oh, I might use it heavily later on. Yeah, so their water levels are getting so low that they're basically sucking up mud into their drinking water. It's still safe to drink.
Oh, of course it is.
It just adds some lemon so it's easier to swallow.
It's just got some extra minerals in it. Not a big deal.
This is
A little bit of iron.
This is in Sacramento primarily. We realize that it's unpleasant, Carlos Elation, the city's utility spokesperson, told CNN. The earthy taste that some of our customers are experiencing is harmless and can be neutralized by adding some lemon or putting it in the refrigerator.
Because if you put it in the refrigerator and let it sit for a while, the sediment sinks to the bottom.
But then when you do taste it, it's cold dirt, which tastes better than warm dirt.
Yes.
I guess.
You are officially handicapped.
Yeah, after more than a decade of extreme drought, it's not unusual for Sacramento's water to taste a little off. It should be in today's modern age. It just doesn't usually start to taste funky until the late summer or early fall when water levels are at their... So it's going to get worse.
Bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off for them.
Yeah, because their strategy is, hey, our population has... You know what? Hold on.
Hold on to what?
That's the word. Timeline.
It's all right.
So the population of California has almost doubled since 1970.
Oh, really?
How much water retention have they built since 1970?
Negative 50%.
Oh! Why are we having all this water problems? I don't know, maybe because you're not storing water.
Well, that's just because they have to dump a bunch of it to, keep the smelt alive.
Right, the smelt. Because the smelt can't swim very well.
Right, yes.
So we have to save the fish that can't swim.
Yes, exactly. For those of you that think that's a joke, look it up because we're not kidding.
100% true.
This is not the bee. It is 100% accurate. Ugh. Because at some point there was some politician that looked out, saw all these stupid fish, and just started singing a little tune for them that goes something along the lines of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Something like that.
And in case you didn't know, there is 4, 8, 9. There's 9 different types of smelt. I feel like if one of those smelt was suddenly left to the whims of nature, which seems to have selected it for extinction if it can't swim.
It's not that it can't swim, it just can't swim very well.
Yeah, people can't swim very well either, yet here we are. Improvise, adapt, overcome. Yeah, but hey, we're saving the smelt at the expense of comfort for people in California and potentially their lives. Yeah. Yeah, good for you guys. Good for California.
Yeah.
And to be clear, most of the people that say they hate California will happily tell you because they're socialists, all this stuff, which they are. But in the end, most people hate California because when California passes a stupid law about something causing cancer, everyone else has to abide by that. because products that are sold in California are sold everywhere else, so they decide to just comply with California stuff so they don't have to worry about everything else, which means they have to hire all these legal people to make sure they do it right, which means that your products cost more.
Yes.
So when California says, hey, we need to have this plan in place that does this, this, and this, okay, that's going to make cars cost more.
Yeah.
Yes, but we're going to have cleaner air. Okay.
So let's put it to you this way. If the state of California were to reside by itself, if the rest of the United States didn't exist, California has the natural resources to support itself as a country.
Right.
However, if it were to exist as it does currently with the economics and laws that it does now, it would have collapsed about 20 years ago.
About.
Because despite how naturally resource rich it is, the economy and things that it has are unsustainable without outside intervention. Without all of the other states ponying up to pay for their exorbitant spending.
So, for example, California has an entire coast where they could have all their green coastal energy type stuff going.
Yes.
California has, I'm pretty sure they have uranium deposits, right?
Yes.
So they could have some nuclear power to power their stuff. They have oil up the wazoo in
Yes.
California. So much so that you can just drive around any city in Southern California and there's oil wells all over in the middle of the city, which they can use to create energy, electricity. There's all kinds of places where they could build hydroelectric dams to get power from water. There's places where they could build windmills to get power from the wind. California is the largest importer of electricity in the United States, coming in at somewhere around 90 million megawatts per hour.
Yeah.
But they're going for green energy. Yeah, the energy that they're importing comes from the coal mine, from the coal plants in Utah and Nevada.
But
it's green.
But the environment.
Nah.
No, it's not.
Stupid. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. If it's still broke and somehow running, you've gotten someone else to carry it around for you.
And you want to know what's really funny is, so you want to talk about innovation, right? Do you know how the catalytic converter was invented?
I used to have an inkling of an idea, but now I don't.
So, catalytic converter was invented by Eugene Howdrey, mechanical engineer, who lived in the U.S. around 1950. You know what happened in 1950?
Wasn't that the oil shortage of some sort? Or
No, it was the early studies of smog in Los Angeles.
Oh,
So, Los Angeles comes out with this study of, well, our air, we just can't see or breathe without really kind of chewing. So, we're going to do this study to figure out this smog crap. They figure out that smog is mostly caused by exhaust smokes in their area, right?
never mind
So-
the high pressure that's sitting over the top of it. It's keeping it from
So,
escaping.
So Howdrey became concerned about the role of smokestack exhaust, automobile exhaust, and air pollution and things. And so he founded a company called Oxy Catalyst and developed the catalytic converter for smokestacks. And then he developed it for warehouse forklifts. And then he developed it again for gasoline engines.
Right.
So between the beginning of the 1950s and the mid-1950s, he develops catalytic converters for essentially every type of smoke-producing or smog-producing thing.
Right.
in the span of 5 years.
Does it consume gas or coal? Yes. All right, I'll make a thing for it.
In the space of 5 years, he invents this neat little filter, basically, is what it is, that drastically reduces the amount of smoke put out by all of these things. And yes, it does reduce, horsepower or whatever. But the point of the matter is...
Yes, it makes it so your car doesn't perform like it's supposed to. But
the point of the matter is that without any government intervention at all, in the 1950s in California, some dude saw a problem and went, I think I can fix that.
hold on. So what you mean to tell me is, if left to its own devices, the free market will freely create solutions to problems that it sees and market it for people to buy willingly on their own.
Yes.
And in so doing it, making it cheaper and cheaper each time.
Yes.
Huh. Interesting. What's that Green New Deal thing that's being passed?
It's a pile of organic garbage.
Is it, though?
It is.
Organic, is it?
Well, yeah, because organic doesn't actually mean anything other than they slapped a sticker on it that tells you that it's better for you.
Oil is organic. Change my mind.
Organic means that they didn't use any harsh chemicals or pesticides on it. Now, organic means that they were able to grow something under a threshold. It's literally what it means.
Right.
The farms and stuff around there, their organic areas
It just means
are
they didn't
required
use
to
a
be a
certain
certain percentage of a certain thing, and that's it. That's all organic
And you
means.
know it's organic because, like Mike said, they slapped that sticker on there that says it's organic. That sticker that is made from oils.
and stuck to your fruit with
Adhesive that's
adhesive
made from
that's made from oils.
That you washed with soap that's made from
Oils.
oils. Okay.
Yeah. Anyway,
Anyhow, coming a little closer to the States,
neither here nor there.
a little closer to the States, Chicago,
Yeah, that's out in the mid-Atlantic, right?
it's just south of Canada and just north of the U.S.
Oh, okay. That makes perfect sense because there are laws in the U.S. against owning certain things.
Right,
And there have been since the Second Amendment was created.
like an automatic rifle. I hate when they do this. Fully automatic rifle. There's only one type of automatic.
Yes.
It's either automatic or it's not. It's not fully
Well-
automatic. It's not partially automatic. It is automatic. or
There
it's
is
not.
semi-automatic.
There is semi-auto, which means that it's not auto.
Yes. Means that you have to pull the trigger for every bang. You have to pull the bang switch for every pew-pew.
Well, what about the burst? That's a burst.
It's a burst fire.
It's a
It's different.
It's a 2 or 3 round burst. It's not automatic. You still
Meaning
have to
you pull the trigger once and it fires a certain number of times.
Okay.
Usually
All right.
2 to 3 times.
Okay,
Yes.
now that we got that all sorted out. This is downtown something or other traffic in Chicago. Dude gets out of the car and just starts shooting with an automatic rifle. Because that's just a day in the life of Chicago, I guess. Here it is.
Bright green, like parakeets in the tree there. Yeah, it was really crazy.
Da-da-da. Da-da-da. 10:30 in the
Here
morning.
he comes to wreck the day.
Gets out of the car. Just starts shooting. He doesn't know what he's doing with it because the magazine fell out of the gun, so he grabs his pistol.
What the heck
and
is he shooting at?
I don't know. Now, here's the thing.
Because he's obviously shooting at someone specific.
Right, so it's probably like some
It's probably gang
related
violence.
thing.
Most likely.
Now, here's the thing.
Did he leave the magazine behind?
I don't know. I'd pick it up if I were one of these guys.
I mean, I wasn't going to say that out loud. But
So right about here. So he's up here, right? Between this white SUV and this sedan right here. Shooting off rounds at whoever, whatever. If I'm in this sedan and I see someone doing
He's
this,
getting pinned to the car in front of me.
pinned into the car in front of me.
Not only that, but as I'm hitting the gas, I'm also drawing and shooting through my windshield.
Right.
But that's because I live in a place where I can do that.
Right. This being Chicago, however, I most likely, the only thing I could do is pin him against that car or run him over. That's so violent. Excuse me? Excuse the out of me.
I mean,
Because this guy does not deserve to be on the streets. Yeah, but you damaged somebody else's car for that? I don't know. They'd probably be glad I stopped someone from shooting a full auto rifle into in the back of his car. Maybe.
Who knows?
I'd let the insurance figure that out after. Because I'm not getting shot. If I'm getting shot, he's going to regret shooting me. Mm-hmm. That's how every situation like this has to go down. If you want criminals to stop being a-holes, you have to make them regret being a-holes. That's how you fix it. You got to make it not worth it. Because they just get back in the car and drive off. Mm-hmm. Gone. But yeah, so far as I know, they haven't been caught. It could have been worse. Look at that still again. Yeah, look, there it is. Big old drum. Just another day in Chirac. I want this, by the way. Because
I could get you one.
Because reasons.
Just tell me a caliber.
5.56. Yes, I use the metric, not the standard.
That's unfortunate.
Americans should use metric. Proceeds to chamber round in metric.
Isn't the 223 easier to reload, though?
They're about the same. Yeah.
Just saying.
Yeah. About the same. I have a 5.56 because where one of the places I used to work, I got a steep discount from Ruger Firearms. I got half off of whatever, and I wasn't getting paid much, but half off of the 5.56 Ruger meant that I got a gun for $300. That was normally $600-700 or more. So I took a cheap gun. And no, it does not fire cheaply. It's got some accessories that make it not worth $300 anymore.
Actually, it's out of stock. Damn.
Dang it.
It's all right. There are other places. Yeah.
All right.
Woo! Those are expensive.
Yeah.
Those ones with the clear on the outside, like that showed, those are $200 when they're not on sale.
Oh. But if it's not clear, then it's $100. Is that
Basically.
all right? Do you want to see the rounds disappearing, or you just want to know that you've spent a lot of money?
For those that want to watch their money burn as they burn it.
I left you 5 rounds. All right. So now we're going down on the border. Skipping the heartland, going down on the border. This is a train of events here. Ooh, so on June 23rd, the Biden administration basically fired the head of the Border Patrol. The reason? None.
No reason?
No reason.
No reason whatsoever.
Hey, you need to stop working now. Oh. But why? Border Patrol Chief Rodney Scott informed regional chiefs from around the country in a video conference Wednesday of his plans to leave, according to 3 people with knowledge of the conversation. Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas,
I love those people with knowledge of the conversation.
made the final decision to get rid of Scott, all 3 people said. One person said the move was not related to Scott's performance over the past 18 months or how he has handled the surge of people coming across the southern border since President Joe Biden took office. Instead, the move was, quote, completely driven by politics, end quote, even though Scott's position is apolitical and he is a 29-year law enforcement official at the Border Patrol. Yeah. Scott was given what Border Patrol agents refer to as the 3R letter, which stands for resign, retire, or relocate. Scott did not respond to a request for comment about his departure. In a post on his Facebook page, he wrote that he had received his letter today asking him to leave his post. Yeah. He received my 3R letter today. For those not familiar, federal government slang for no rationale or reason is required, nor is it disciplinary. Just a simple needs of the service directed reassignment, so the new administration can place the person they want in the position. Oh, yeah, we don't want the guy that's been there forever handling things, who oversaw the steepest decline in illegal border crossings over the last 4 years. No, I don't want him. In a completely unrelated note, on June 24th, the next day, Kamala Harris was able to safely arrive on the border, in quotations. She basically stayed on the tarmac for some photo ops in El Paso, which I believe is like 1,000 miles away from where the
Yes, it's the
crisis
opposite
is.
side of the state. The opposite side of the border, I should say. So, like, not across the border, but like you go to the bottom of Texas for where the border crisis is, and she was at like the top of Texas border with Mexico.
So if we
zoom out here and look at Texas, that's Utah. Go down. There you go. Okay. So if you look down there towards the bottom, right there in the Gulf of Mexico.
All right, so let's say you are coming from. Why you do?
What are you doing?
Go away, Google stuff. Okay. So let's say you are coming from wherever down here and going up through Mexico to come to the United States because of whatever reason. You want to get to the U.S. as soon as possible to start receiving the benefits.
The shortest
of the US,
distance is a straight line,
which means that you're going straight to El Paso, right?
No,
Way up here.
negative. You would probably go through like the Monterey area
or like
McAllen,
where the actual ish is going on.
Yes.
Oh.
Yes.
Or
Somewhere,
Laredo,
or
even,
Laredo,
where
even one of those
other ish is going on.
One of those places, yes.
Oh, but hey, this is basically El Paso, the furthest north point of the Texas border.
Yeah.
And, you know, completely unrelated to Kamala suddenly going to the border on the 24th, the day after another unrelated thing of the Border Patrol chief being fired, Donald Trump has announced he was visiting the border, and then Kamala just happened to announce a couple of days later that she was going to the border, even though she claims she'd already been to the border.
Yeah. Yeah, the lie detector test determined that was a lie.
Determined that that's a lie. Thanks, Maury. Yeah, but she was greeted by some fans. And these are some of them. Kamala, you know Trump won. F Biden. Kamala hates Mexicans.
That's funny.
Latinos for Trump.
Somos Republicanos.
God bless our Border Patrol. The spirit of America begins at the border. Trump flag. How many little girls need to be raped for this to be a crisis. Kamala.
Again.
You made a wrong term. This isn't Europe.
Jeez.
Kamala, do you hear their screams? And by the way, the mix of people here, you got some white people, old, young. You also have some Hispanic-looking people. Old and young.
She's very Hispanic, and she's holding a Kamala Harris.
Oh, she's saying something. What?
Good morning, America. This is Irene Armendariz Jackson in El Paso, Texas, and I'm here to say, Kamala, you came a little too late. We have had this crisis for years. We need solutions. We don't need you parading on the Border Patrol station or acting like you care. Americans matter. America matters. God bless you, America.
Kamala's Harris for human.
Harris for human.
That's terrible.
Yeah, she did well.
Oh, it says human trafficking.
Yeah, for human trafficking.
Kamala Harris for human trafficking.
Yeah.
That's bad. That's bad.
I mean, she's out of line, but she's right.
That's
You're not wrong, Walter. You're just an asshole.
Yeah. So, and while she was there, she was asked, "Why did you choose now to visit the border?" And I always planned on visiting the border. Back in March, I told you I was going to the border. I've been to the border before. No, as vice president. Why did you choose now? Is it because Trump announced that he was going to the border? Is that why? No, this has been the plan the whole time.
You know, the funniest thing about this is, so she went to the border, and she went to El Paso specifically so that she could say that there's no crisis, because El Paso is mostly under control because they don't have nearly as much of a problem as some other places do in Texas.
Because, like we pointed out, it's the
Further
furthest
away
point.
from where the actual huge problem is. I mean, there's still a problem there. Don't get me wrong, but not nearly as bad as there is down in the
They're
southern
not packed
side.
in like breakfast burritos at Beto's.
So she went there so she could do some photo shoots and show an area that looks like it's mostly under control or mostly making progress, whatever.
While answering some softball questions.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's why this was entirely a political news bit.
It was a stunt.
Move. It was a stunt, yes. So the funny thing is going to be, now she's gone here and done this bullcrap photo shoot, whatever, where all we really got out of it was a bunch of signs that are really funny about how awful she is. And a new phrase. I'm going to use Kamala forever.
Kamala.
Kamala. Kamala is my new favorite name for her.
You took a wrong turn. This isn't Europe. I haven't been to Europe.
and the best part of this is that Trump is now going to go in, what is it, next week or the week after?
It's this weekend.
Is it this weekend? He's going this weekend. He's going to go this weekend to the actual bad part.
He's going to, with the governor.
With
of
the governor.
Texas.
Which you know means that there will at least be one or two local news places that'll cover their trip.
Yeah.
So now she's gone and done this phony photo op, and then next week is going to come out what the actual border is like down there, and the fact that she went to the completely wrong place.
And people that see it will have to tell their eyes that they're lying.
But the thing that is frustrating about this is that the only people that are going to see the way it actually is down there are not the ones that need to see that, because they already know.
I'm making a prediction that CNN, if they have a story on it, it'll be buried in the background of their website.
Right.
It won't be a headline news thing.
Yes.
The Kamala visit, I'm sure, was headline news for CNN. Kamala visits border and
Yeah. Yeah. Kamala. Which is funny. Is a little bit of a play on Isn't malo bad in Spanish? Yeah, it is. So que mala, que malo would be how bad. Mala would be the feminine, would be like feminizing
Right.
it. So it'd be how bad. So bad, poor, evil, ill, terrible, lousy, nasty, dirty.
Oof.
Oof. Oof.
All the things.
All of the things.
So Harvard did a poll. You know, that conservative bastion that is Harvard did a poll.
Yes.
To see what Americans think about the border and things like that. Well, in the poll, an overwhelming 80% said that illegal immigration is a serious issue and one that needs more attention than what President Joe Biden or Vice President Kamala Harris are giving. Oh. What's more, 68% said that signals from Biden's White House are encouraging illegal immigration. Oh. And 55% believe that former President Donald Trump's border closing policies should have been left in place. Oh. Now, Joe Biden got less than 55% of the votes, right?
Probably.
He got less than 68% of the votes.
Oh, he definitely got less than 68%.
Biden did?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So that this makes sense. Anyway, pollster Mark Penn sized up the results in this way. Immigration is boiling up as an issue. Yeah. Add it to increasing voter concerns about inflation, taxes, and the critical race theory controversy, and this could be a summer of woe for Democrats. These are not good numbers for Democrats, said an advisor to House Republicans. The fears of illegal immigration were a key part of Penn's analysis of his June poll for Harvard's Center for American Political Studies and the Harris poll. He wrote 64% of registered voters want the Biden administration to issue new, stricter policies to reduce the flow of people across the border. Only 7% of voters could accurately call out the amount of monthly illegal immigrants crossing the U.S., with 84% underestimating the number. So 7% got it right. 84% were under the guess. What was left, 99% guessed more than was actually crossing the border. Oh. How many illegal immigrants do you think are crossing the border every month? I don't know, probably 10,000. It's over 100,000. Oh. Suggesting we should expect stronger voter reactions if the crisis evolves further. Yeah, because when they find out that it's 10 times what they're guessing, they're probably going to be a little upset. Overall, 74% of voters view the current surge in illegal immigrants as a crisis that needs to be addressed immediately, and 56% do not view climate change, racism, and sexism as root causes of migration from South and Central America. Basically saying Kamala's Southern Central America visit was pointless. That's the word. And then down here, on schooling and education, another sleeper issue, 61% do not believe students should be taught that America is structurally racist and is dominated by white supremacy. Oh. This destroys our democracy. Now, see, if we were actually a democracy, 61% saying no, we're not teaching critical race theory would mean that critical race theory is not being taught anywhere. But that's not what we are. We're a republic. But still. Anyway, digging into, so we delved into critical race pretty deep last week. Deeper than we wanted. But here's some more stuff going on. Grammar is racist. It perpetuates whiteness.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Because speaking good is for white people.
Right. And don't you dare
Apparently.
show up on time with all your good grammar. That's double racist. Townsend University recently hosted a virtual anti-pedagogy symposium, according to Campus Reform, which criticized university writing curriculum and programs for being racist and perpetuating whiteness. Yeah, as the country begins its long-awaited reckoning with institutional racism. Long-awaited reckoning? Like we know it's been here the whole time. We've just been waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting to reckon ourselves with institutional racism. Never mind the Civil War. Never mind the 60s. Forget all that. We've been waiting so long. College universities have been engaging deeply in the ethical dilemma of our time. How do our institutional structures and practices contribute to the problem of silencing, marginalizing, minoritizing, and otherwise harming black and indigenous students of color? What do we need to change to create not just a passively inclusive atmosphere for students, but an actively anti-racist one? Yeah, good for you guys. The way black language is devalued in schools reflects how black lives are devalued in the world. Hold on. So, speaking properly and writing properly perpetuates whiteness because black people don't know how to speak properly.
Yes.
Or write properly.
Apparently.
Okay. It's not racist to think that black people are too dumb to figure that out. I guess. Wow. Yeah. The repeated references to correct grammar and standard language reinforce master narratives of English only as white and monolingualism. And, for being all proper grammar is terrible, you got a lot of stupid long words in here. And a deficit view of multilingualism, Sanchez Martin insisted during the symposium. Yeah, good for you guys.
I wonder if he's dirty.
Is he dirty? Dirty Sanchez. I caught it.
Got that reference.
You lobbed, I caught.
Sometimes my genius, it generates gravity.
All right, the military was questioned about critical race theory because, that's what politicians do. They ask questions and don't come to any solution. But this is what the General Mark Milley had to say about critical race theory.
The other thing that they raised to me was a seminar that over 100 cadets attended titled Understanding Whiteness and White Rage, taught by a woman who described the Republican Party platform as a platform of white supremacy. This is going on at West Point as we speak to our future military leaders.
Yay.
And sir, I would encourage you, I would demand that you get to the bottom of what is going on.
But I do think it's important, actually, for those of us in uniform to be open-minded and be widely read. And the United States Military Academy is a university. And it is important that we train and we understand. And I want to understand white rage, and I'm white, and I want to understand it. So what is it?
You look like you have some white rage.
You pandering imbecile.
Yeah.
West Point is a university. Yeah, for military stuff. See, when you go to a university that specializes in something and you go there specifically for that specialization, you're not there to study things completely irrelevant to that thing, right?
Usually.
I want to be an aerospace engineer. Okay, you need to study gender studies. Why? Well-rounded, or something like that. He goes on.
I became
That caused
well-rounded.
Thousands of people to assault this
By
building
eating
and try to
everything.
overturn the Constitution of the United
No,
States.
okay.
Thousands of understand it, and I want to understand white rage, and I'm white, and I want to understand it. So, what is it that caused thousands of people to assault this building and try to overturn the Constitution of the United States of America? What caused that?
Was it the Constitution they were trying to overthrow? Is that what he's decided?
Were they trying to overthrow the Constitution of the United States, or were they asking, hey, we think some ish went on, and we want you to check out the ish? We're not going to check out the ish. You should probably check out the ish. We're not checking out the ish.
Check your ish, sir.
And remember...
And look at your thuff.
Was it last week that Joe Biden said that you can't take on the United States Army with an AR-15?
Oh, yes, when he threatened to nuke his own civilians. Yes, that one.
Yeah. You need at least an F-15 or a nuclear
And
weapon.
a nuclear weapon to...
So is the AR-15 a weapon of war, or is it not? Now, this coming from the leader of the party who says the government was almost entirely overthrown by an entirely unarmed mob who is led by a guy wearing a buffalo helmet. The logic is baffling. See, and what he's doing, he's trying to use emotion here instead of reason. They assaulted this building. You guys were in this building. Remember, this building. They assaulted it. Yeah, they tore right through it, didn't they?
I want to find that out. I want to maintain an open mind here, and I do want to analyze it. It's important that we understand that because our soldiers, sailors, airmen, Marines, and Guardians, they come from the American people. So it is important that the leaders, now and in the future, do understand it. I've read Mao Zedong. I've read Karl Marx. I've read Lenin. That doesn't make me a communist. So,
do you understand them, though?
You can read them all you want, but unless you understand them...
I can read a book about particle physics. Does that mean I now understand particle physics? No.
No.
Not in the slightest.
No. I understand trigonometry better now after our conversation.
Yeah, trigonometry has...
Circles and triangles.
Yeah. Trigonometry you think is all about triangles because that's what they keep telling you in school. But if you're taught trigonometry by someone who wasn't taught to teach math and who actually used trigonometry as an applied science, you learn that trigonometry is used to measure circles because a triangle can only fit one circle from its 3 points or one circle from its three faces.
Interior spots, yeah. Yeah, so technically two circles, one on the outside, one on the inside.
Yes. And you use the triangles to find the dimensions of those circles. Or you use the circles to find the dimensions of triangles. Ba-ba-da-da! It makes more sense.
Trigonometry.
Triggered-nometry.
I've been practicing trigonometry since I was just little.
Since I was old enough to hold a 22.
BB gun, even.
Anyway.
What is wrong with
Starlings,
understanding,
sir.
having some situational understanding about the country for which we are here to defend? And I
don't know. Maybe when you're holding a seminar that is teaching the military that an entire political party is racist and extremist. And not just like some fringe political party. No. one of the two main political parties is an enemy of the U.S., is basically what they're being taught.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're going to take umbrage with that, sir, in all of her pink dress.
In all of her pink dress.
Personally find it offensive that we are accusing the United States military, our general officers, our commissioned, non-commissioned officers of being, quote, woke or something else because we're studying some theories that are out there.
Well, if the
Gates
shoe
is having
fits,
none of that. Did you see that? Look at Gates. Here he goes.
It's military, our general officers, our commissioned, non-commissioned officers of being, quote, woke or something else because we're studying some theories that are out there. That was started at Harvard Law School years ago, and it proposed that there were laws in the United States,
Gates.
antebellum laws prior to the Civil War that led to a power differential with African Americans that were 3/4 of a human being when this country was formed.
3/5.
3/5, yes.
3/5.
Get your numbers right, sir.
And, General, if you actually were studying the history of the United States, you would understand that that made it so that the slaves could be freed in the future. We had to first free ourselves from the country that was not allowing us to free slaves. And then we had to work out between ourselves how to free the slaves.
Yes.
General. Now, if you were actually a student of history, seeing as how you're part of the airborne, that tells me that you're not as involved with military history as someone like the Marines, because the Marines are pretty strong on studying their history and part of their curriculum.
Shout out to all of our Marine friends, because y'all are awesome. We love you.
Yes. The rest of you are all right. Even though the Marines eat crayons.
Oh, hey. Careful with that.
That's, What does that say about the other branches, though?
That's terrible.
See, again, because we live here, we can say stupid stuff like that makes people hate us or laugh with us.
Also, because they know we're joking.
Wholeheartedly.
You know I'm joking.
I tried to join the Marines, but they wouldn't take me because I wasn't healthy enough. They didn't like that I have asthma.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah. Turns out that's probably
You would have been a
okay,
great
'cause
jarhead.
Then I'd be in the middle of all this crap and wouldn't technically be allowed to talk about it.
There is
in
that.
this manner.
There is that.
All right. Where were we?
With African Americans that were 3/4 of a human being when this country was formed. And then we had a Civil War and Emancipation Proclamation to change it. And we brought it up to...
We had a Civil War to finish it. Not to change it, to finish it.
It's all right, because he read but didn't understand the history book. Just
the
like
Civil Rights
Marxism
Act
and
of
Leninism.
1964 took another 100 years to change that. So look I do want to know.
Do you? There's another point in all of this where I don't think it's in this. There's another point in the questioning where he's asked about it, and he says, I've never read critical race theory, but I believe that we need to... Hold up! I haven't read the thing I'm making people read in the military, but I believe we need to do it. All right, so if Mein Kampf rolled across your desk and people above you said, hey, the military needs to read this.
You would just pass it on to them without reading it yourself?
Pass it on to them and saying, we need to follow this.
Well, I mean, that's basically what they did with the Communist Manifesto, so...
Yeah. So, cool. I do enjoy Gates just sitting there.
Dude, Gates is funny. His face, man.
You stupid man.
Terrible.
So, the National Archives, you know them, you love them. They're the ones in charge of making sure the history of the United States is preserved. Such things as like the Declaration of Independence, the Constitution, all that stuff should be preserved for future generations to understand, la la la. And they go out of their way to protect them and teach about them. They had a task force on racism that came back and said the Constitution, Declaration of Independence, Bill of Rights are examples of structural racism. Yeah.
Wrong, 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 wrong. Wrong, 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 wrong. You're wrong, you're wrong, you're wrong.
The report to the country's top librarian, which was released in April but resurfaced by Fox News on Sunday, also claimed that the Founding Fathers and other white historical figures are depicted too positively. The heroes of our country are depicted too positively. Oh. The task force was formed at the direction of National Archivist David Ferrario in response to the murder of George Floyd. Yeah, because that's the time when you need to find something that you are specifically looking for, so you can find any way possible to make it match what it is that you're looking for to prove a point. The group claims that structural racism, quote, unequivocally impacts, end quote, how National Archives and Records Administration employees approach each other, customers, and historical records. Summary of the report detailed examples of structural racism, including legacy descriptions that use racial slurs and harmful language to describe BIPOC communities. The list includes racial slurs and terms such as elderly, handicapped,
You are officially handicapped.
illegal alien. You were waiting for that, weren't you?
I was.
Oh, handicap's on there. Button.
Handicap button.
It labeled the National Archives Rotunda as an example of structural racism because it lauds wealthy white men in the nation's founding while marginalizing BIPOC. Why do you already had this in there? You don't put this the second time that the acronym is there. Black, Indigenous, and other people of color. Women and other communities. Marginalizes all of them.
Because women aren't marginalized right now by the transgenders getting into their sports and everything else.
No, not at all.
No, not at all.
And the task force called for trigger warnings to be added to historical content to forewarn audiences of content that may cause intense physiological and psychological symptoms.
Son of You done messed up, Aaron.
Now, I might be thinking a little too much into this.
Probably.
But I would feel like the National Archives, if it's concerned that people aren't getting a full description of the history that went on, would tell people about the full history of what was going on. I mean, being that they are the National Archives, they have access to documents that show that George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, and other founding fathers actively fought to end slavery and, in most cases, freed their own slaves and gave them means to provide for themselves for the rest of their lives. You'd think they'd have access to that, but I guess being the National Archives, they don't have access to those kinds of documents or the documents that teach about what the 3/5 clause actually meant.
Yeah.
Providing an advisory notice to users gives us an opportunity to mitigate harm and contextualize the records. Does it? Does it? It creates a space to share with the public our ultimate goals for reparative description, demonstrate our commitment to the process, and address any barriers that we may face in achieving these goals, i.e. the size and scope of the catalog and the ever-evolving knowledge we gain regarding what is harmful. Yeah, in terms of minority groups, you could, I don't know, maybe share some stories of the women of the Revolution that saved multiple men from death, including the women that rode on Paul Revere's ride that saved Thomas Jefferson and others and brought reinforcements to the first shot heard around the world. Yep. And you might be able to share that story. Or maybe you could share the story of the black man that saved all the men in Bunker Hill. Or the black man that eventually led to the defeat of Cornwallis. Maybe you could share those stories, being the National Archive. But
I think we've talked about a couple of those stories. Ranted and raved over the last several months.
Yeah. The report also recommends a change to language on our documents.gov to be less celebratory of historical figures such as former President Thomas Jefferson.
Stop it. Get some help.
Our documents.gov features Serenity Now.
Serenity Now. Goose. I need a soundbite for Goose Frappa. Goose Frappa.
Our documents.gov features transcripts and historical context of 100 milestone documents of American history, but often uses adulatory and excessive language to document the historical contributions of white, wealthy men. For example, a search of Thomas Jefferson in our documents.gov brings up 24 results. He is described in this sample lesson plan as a visionary who took vigorous action to strengthen the will of the nation to expand westward. Yes, he did. The plan does not mention that his policy of westward expansion forced Native Americans off their ancestral land. No, it did not. Because if that was the case, why would he spend so many federal funds in helping Native Americans build up their lands and paying for missionary efforts so Native Americans could not only learn the gospel, but learn English so they could communicate and trade with the colonists? That's a terrible person right there.
So bad. Such an awful man. We should lynch him.
Encouraged ongoing colonial violence? No. And laid the groundwork for further atrocities like the Trail of Tears. That was not Jefferson!
I can see that you're a little emotional about this. I don't blame you.
I wonder, hold on.
Okay, what am I holding on to?
Our documents.gov.
Ooh.
We're doing it live.
Well, this is not a mundane detail,
It's
Michael.
not, because I want to see the 24 results for Thomas Jefferson. Just to see.
Control F this.
Search. Your search is in the worst spot ever. It should be at the top like every other normal page.
Well, we already know that they do everything bass-ackwards.
It is a government website.
Yes, exactly. That was all that needed to be said.
The government website's not secure. Send anyway.
Oh, that's terrible.
All right, this is our 24 results, right?
That one's Thomas Edison.
Thomas Jefferson.
Ooh, Jefferson and the Exploration of the West.
So that's the one that they're going at. Okay, so I wonder, Declaration of Independence, yeah, because he wrote that, right?
Right, yeah.
Right. So that's what I'm looking for is, do they have the, I don't know,
The Ordinance of 1784.
the original draft of the Declaration of Independence that Thomas Jefferson wrote by himself before it was edited? Do you have that?
Does not
Do you?
appear to be so,
Let's just look for that, right? This is the National Archives.
You would think they would have something of those along
Declaration
those lines.
of Independence. 97 results. Cool. Let's go with original. Still 97. All right. Draft. 31. Something about Oahu. It's the transcript of the things.
You know, the thing.
The thing. I'm going to go out of my way and say they don't have that on here. Because whenever I actually search Google for Thomas Jefferson. Actually, no.
Declaration of Independence.
Yeah, Declaration. Thank you.
Declaration of Independence. Draft, National Archives.
Original draft.
Original rough draft
Oh, look.
is
Library of Congress.
lock.gov.
That's Library of Congress. Jefferson Papers at Princeton.
Jefferson Papers. TeachingAmericanHistory.org. NPS.gov. History.com.
Mental Floss.
Mental Floss.
Constitutional
That's
Facts.
Fun. Blackpast.org.
Deleted passage of the Declaration. Oh. I wonder what Black Pass is all about. I'm curious now.
I am too. That's actually
look at
kind of
them.
awesome.
They got the black and yellow like Black Lives Matter.
That's actually really fun. I'm kind of entertained by this.
Including a passage attacking slavery.
It initiated the most intense debate among the delegates gathered at Philadelphia in the spring and early summer of 1776.
It's the most important section removed from the final. Yes, it was.
Yes, indeed.
It was also the largest section in the draft. It was a more ambiguous passage about King George's incitement of domestic insurrections among us. Yep. I like this site. Blackpass.org. They will be linked in the description below.
We're keeping that one. Keeping that one.
Just based off of this one page, they've won my at least
interest.
They
have won my interest.
Yeah.
You had my attention. Now you have my interest.
It's just we'll pin you for later.
Pin you for later.
But yeah, the National Archives, I don't know, maybe you tell the story of how the Declaration of Independence evolved into the final document that you see in that glass case, that if an explosion went off, it would drop instantly into a vault that could be ground zero for a nuclear explosion and not be exposed to anything.
But why would they do that? I mean, then people would be informed and actually have context to their history.
Your Honor, I object!
And why is that, Mr. Reed?
Because it's devastating to my case!
Overruled.
Good call!
Yeah, I mean, because, I don't know, maybe people in power don't give you the information you need to overthrow them.
Yeah.
Are you overthrowing it? No. See, back in ye old medieval times, you weren't allowed to read the Bible. Only royalty and the clergy were allowed.
You also weren't allowed to own a sword unless you were in the government's militia, military, or a knight.
At the time of war.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, you can read the Bible, but you could go to church and hear all about the Bible, but you couldn't read it.
Mm-hmm.
The Bible says to do this. Can I see? Nope.
In fact, it was written in dead, uncommon languages mostly to keep the common man from being able to read it.
Yeah. Yeah, like Latin, for example.
Yes.
Huh. But now, of course, that's not at all what's going on here, where if everybody knew that the original draft of the Declaration of Independence was written, as we have said before, they would still be acting exactly the same today on race relation in the... Oh, wait. They'd probably be a little confused.
A little bit. Just a little bit.
Hey, but hey, Target has clearance if you can go in and burn it down and take what you want. Because someone got shot somewhere by a cop. What did they do to get shot? Doesn't matter.
They charged him with a knife.
Yeah. It also calls, let's see, where did I leave off? The plan does not mention that his policy. I already did that. It also calls for the creation of safe spaces in every NARA facility. It says NARA, National Archives, something. I'm guessing Rotunda, something.
Yeah, that was earlier in the thing.
One of the acronyms I skipped. Has a responsibility to eliminate racist language in archival descriptions and revise the policies and practices that led to it. So we need to rewrite history? Huh.
I've heard that
Sounds
somewhere. That sounds
really
familiar. Where did that...
And Barack knows that we are going to have to make sacrifices. We are going to have to change our conversation. We're going to have to change our traditions, our history. We're going to have to move into a different place.
Oh.
Why are you dinging at me?
Let's see if I could find, because I know that something is in there that I'm not seeing, and I'm trying to find it. There it is. There it is. New York Post.
Oh.
New York Post covers it. And Control F. Dance. The task force suggests ways to reimagine the rotunda, including staging dance or performance art in the space that invites dialogue about the ways the United States has mythologized the founding era. So we need interpretive dance in the rotunda to explain the stories that you could easily explain by
only bigots are opposed to interpretive dance, sir.
Are they?
Yes. Bigots and plebeians alone. That's it. Because being opposed to interpretive dance shows a certain lack of taste and smell. And wait, no, those are the symptoms of COVID.
Oh, wait.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah. It's like,
I earned us a flag for this episode. Woo!
Go ahead and press X on that down below. COVID is this and that. Go here to find out more information. Good for you, National Archives.
Yeah.
Good for freaking you.
It
just makes you smile, you know?
We're in such a refreshing era. You know, it's just so good to
what
live
a time to be alive.
in a time like
Am I
this.
right?
So great to raise children in such a wonderful world.
So my son is this week. We sent him off to Patriot Camp.
Oh yeah,
yeah, really cool. It's just like for a few hours each day or whatever. They go and they learn about the founding fathers, blah blah blah, all that fun stuff. Day 1, the dangers of communism and socialism.
Really? Is this camp taught by the Tuttle twins?
They taught it in a very creative way that my son understood, but not necessarily understood all the words, but understood the premise of what they were talking about, because they held up an apple and an orange, or an apple and a banana. And
those are considerably different. They're not even remotely close to the same shape.
Yeah. And they asked, so what's this? Holding up the apple. And the kids all shout, that's an apple. I hold up the banana. What's this? It's a banana. And they said, can the banana be an apple? No. And they go on to talk about how things can be talked about as being one thing when really there's still that bad other thing. It's really cool.
They make a good point.
Yeah,
good point.
Bunch of 5, 6, 7, 8-year-olds, something like that, and they're teaching them the dangers of socialism and all that stuff, and telling him all about printing presses, the founding era, and things like that. It's really cool. Meanwhile, you got National Archives. Maybe if we do interpretive dance, it'll help people not be so triggered and understand more that we shouldn't idolize these guys that gave us everything that we have.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Cool.
Whatever you say.
Well, to end on a positive note, we got to the good news. End on a positive note. This guy deserves every medal available to deputies, sheriff's deputies. Teenager went missing down in Florida a couple weeks ago, 2 or 3 weeks ago. 13 years old. And she didn't come home from school. And they called the police, and the deputy shows up. Says, yeah, she's supposed to come home, but she said something about being at a basketball game or something, but she still hasn't come home. So just getting a little worried that she might be lost or somewhere else or whatever. So the deputy backtracks to the school, finds a couple of friends that the mother or grandmother, whichever it was, mentioned. And friends said, yeah, we were going to stay for a game, but then she said she was going to hook up with this guy she met online. And the deputy's like, hold up.
Excuse me?
Excuse me? The girls gave him as much information as they could. She said, yeah, she said she's going to meet up with him at a hotel or a motel. And I think the guy's name was like Travis or Troy or something like that. Off the deputy goes to every motel he can in the nearby vicinity of the school, knowing darn well with most kidnappings and human traffickings, if you don't find them in the first 24 to 48 hours, they're gone.
Yeah.
Gone. And this is a little compilation of what he went through.
Basically, I'm missing a juvenile left school and possibly was picked up by a guy here. I'm kind of wanting to get an idea of who he is, and
What time am I going to look for?
I'm looking at today from school gets out around 3:15ish, so I'm thinking 3 to 3:30.
I mean, is that like a super recent picture though?
She says she looks pretty much like this. It looks pretty close to her.
So he's checking security footage of the check-ins with the hotel people. No luck at the first one.
Hey,
Motel
my
number
name's,
2.
Deputy James. I'm wondering if a juvenile
It's
and
night now.
another person checked in here earlier today. Have you seen that? Her? No, she would have been here with an unknown, probably male.
Number 3.
Hello. Hi, how are you? I'm looking for a juvenile that looks to be ran away from home today. And we have information she may have checked in to a local hotel with an adult.
So just to pause for a sec. This deputy could have easily taken the report, given it to his supervisors, and they could have taken the time to organize a manhunt, all this stuff. But he just went. He's like, okay, this girl went missing with someone she met online. I'm going to go find her. I'm sure he reported it in and all that stuff while on the way. He promised it, I'm going to this place, this place, this place, this place. If you guys can check out other places, check them out. But he just took the initiative and went. Being all... the Scooby-Doo gang would be proud of his investigative abilities, I think.
What she looks like. Any check-ins today?
Only one check-in before I came in.
I'm
Number 4.
investigating a runaway juvenile that supposedly checked into a local hotel today with an adult, most likely. I don't know what he looks like or anything. This is what she looks like.
All right.
right, someone checked in earlier when I wasn't here, so let me check the...
Oh, perfect. Okay.
Go and check the footage.
Yeah. Well, she's only 13, so I don't know the person she's with. So it would have been whoever she's with. Yeah, she doesn't even have an ID. She's, again, only 13.
You know who she's an older person, or you have no idea?
The person she's with? No clue.
He has almost nothing to go off of to find this girl.
Other than a picture of her.
A picture of her and her age and her name. All of which are not used to check into the motels.
Right, because it was the guy that checked
and,
in.
And he has an idea of the name based off what her friends told him. But he's not sure on the name either.
Person that checked in today.
Check in the name of the person that checked in.
Ooh, where's this guy? I think this is him. They said his name started with a T, possibly Tyler.
That's what it was, Tyler.
Front office. Anybody inside? We need to come in for a second.
Housekeeping.
Housekeeping. Can I fluff your pillow?
Come to fluff your sheets. Dude, this guy is
serious. We shouldn't joke about this, but that is pretty awesome.
That dude is sly.
Second.
Check this out.
Sheriff's office. Back up.
Doesn't even
have a seat on the couch.
Doesn't even give him a chance. The guy is shirtless. He's in his boxers or something like that. Doesn't even give him a chance to react. He just shines the light in his eyes. Sheriff's office, sit down. As soon as he opens the door. There's the girl who came running to the cop.
Sheriff's office. Get Pappy up here. Go in the bedroom and wait for me for a second.
Tells the guy.
How old are you? How old are you?
Tells the girl to go somewhere else.
501 text. Just wait there for me, sweetheart. Okay? Are you okay? Do you need any attention? Are you hurt at all? You're not hurt at all?
Do I need to beat his sorry butt?
Okay, we're gonna be right with you, okay?
Switching my body cam off for a second to do temporary maintenance.
Oh, there's a short in the cam. I don't know
short in the camera.
Where'd he get those black eyes? He fell. How many times?
3 times into a doorknob.
If I ask you that question again, I'm gonna lose my mind. How old are you? 22. Oh, you f***ed up.
Oh, you hooked up. Oh, yes, he did.
If I have to ask that question again, I'm going to lose my mind. How old are you?
Yes, I am. I found him.
How
old is he? Too old.
Too old.
I'm on the way. Copy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, sweetheart.
Those are the cops that I will back every day, all day. Go out of their way based off of nothing because they know somebody's life is in danger.
Yeah. That guy.
He deserves every medal possible. How old are you? 22. Oh, you
fucked up.
Oh. Yeah,
Oh,
and
man.
he's now locked away for a very long time.
Yeah,
which in my mind isn't enough because we have to keep paying for him to be there.
Nearly enough.
Yeah, you should castrate people like that. I think that's appropriate.
I think so.
Yeah, if that's what's going to be driving them, you cut it off. It can't drive them anymore, right? It's what they do to dogs.
Sounds appropriate to me.
It fits the crime. That sounds a little brutal. No, what that guy was going to do to that girl was brutal. That is inhumane. Yeah. It's good. It's good. ended with something good. Got through some garbage, ended with something good. That's how life is. You muscle through the garbage to find some good at the end. So we're told.
Yeah. Dude, this stories like that make me sick, though. Like,
yeah. It's too close.
One of the reasons I could never be a cop is if I rolled in on something like that.
The back of your flashlight would have been in the front of his head.
They wouldn't have needed to castrate him. He wouldn't have had anything left by the time
might even
they got
not
there.
really need to be in jail. You beat him within an inch of his life. Yeah, well, he almost ruined her entire life. So I felt it was appropriate.
The really disgusting thing about this story is the amount of time that she was missing. I'm not sure that he didn't.
Right. Yeah. The cop, of course, you saw him kind of check on the girl. Are you hurt? Are you okay? And she could have been fine. He could have been trying to warm her up, but he could have also been messing with her. And the way that she came running to the cop as soon as she came in, as soon as he came in, suggests that she realized she made a mistake for one reason or another.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, stories like that are hard, but outcomes like that are awesome. Yeah. And I know last week I said we'd talk about Senate, House election stuff, but
And the audits and a number of other things, I believe. But
they'll still be there for another
They're
time.
still ongoing. It's still a thing.
Just know.
Just follow it. It's
just know on the upcoming election side, I think there's a heavy chance of Republican landslide. Because the migration of people to other states has increased their Republican registration and or switching from Democrat to independent. And in those states, some of them gained seats in the House, and then the states that are remaining, they've lost a good chunk of Democrat support, and Republican and independent has gone up.
Yeah.
And that historically, that's kind of normal when a party has complete control. When a new president takes over, the midterms switches that. Historically, the level at which it switches is different, but it's historically what happens.
Generally,
I just got to get Mitch out of there.
Yeah,
Turtle.
There's
Mitch.
a few of them. There's a few.
There's a good handful.
Cocaine Mitch.
He's not turtly enough anymore.
He was never turtly enough, but he definitely does enough cocaine. He is not turtly enough for the Turtle Club.
Yeah, that's all I got. I got nothing else.
Yeah. Well, I don't know how I feel about this week. It's been a long week.
It's been a week.
There's a lot to break down. And yeah.
Like we said, pick a hill and frickin' defend it. Because the military is jeopardized. They had what was it? So the Air Force had the drag queen something or other event.
Yeah.
Whoa, that really boosted morale, I'm sure. Yeah, you gotta, if you don't pick a hill to defend, all you're going to have is an uphill battle.
Yeah.
And I'd rather not do that. Well, it doesn't affect me. Well, the more you retreat to your house, all you have left is your house and no reinforcements. Then what? Well, I know so-and-so, they're also recluse to their house. Well, so-and-so, they're recluse to their house. Well, so-and-so, they're recluse to their house.
Yeah. Oh, man. The world is crazy. The world is absolutely crazy.
Mad, even. Mad world.
Seriously.
Well, until next time. That's all we got.
Bye.
Bye.
That's a great beginning of the recording.
It is.
Indeed.
Got to start it out strong by crunching some ice.
Strong like, I don't know, Harambe?
Strong like Biden's sniff game.
Ooh. Ooh. Ouch.
He's probably going through withdrawals now. I haven't seen him get any real sniffs in recently, have you?
It's because he switched to cocaine with his son.
Ah, he's getting those kind of sniffs.
Getting those kind of sniffs in.
The carpet sniffs.
Parmesan.
This one's Parmesan flavors.
It's Parmesan flavor. They come in varieties.
It's the finest cocaine from Italy.
From Italy. All righty. Well, shall we then?
Oh, yes, let's.